Hi, I'm Chris Oliver, Interim Chief Executive at Lancashire and South Cumbria Foundation Trust, and I'm excited to be launching the first episode of our brand new podcast. The aim of In Conversation with the CEO is to raise awareness of the Trust, some of our key services, and more generally, we'll explore the important mental and physical health topics. It will give a behind-the-scenes glimpse into what it's like to work in the NHS and the largest mental health trust in the Lancashire and South Cumbria area. The first episode will focus on the work of our Street Triage Team, and it's lovely to welcome today's guest, Team Leader Tracey Corrigan. Hi, Tracey.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for the invite.
So we're 1 year into Street Triage being launched. Can you tell us briefly about what the Street Triage service is?
Yeah, of course. Street Triage service has been around with the Trust now for just over a year. We're a collaborative joint working partnership with the police service. The aim is to provide mental health input within the community, an urgent response for a police when they attend any scene or any emergency where there's a mental health is considered the primary issue. Brilliant.
And why was it set up in the first place? Was there a gap in service provision?
So during the transitions that the Trust went through to improve the services and access to individuals to mental health services, one of the identified concerns was that mental health was becoming a core part of the police process. They were attending a lot of 999 calls and emergency calls were specifically related to mental health issues. So from that, it was identified that there was a real need to have that cooperative and collaborative relationship service within the police and mental health service. The aim of that is to provide quick response to people in the community who have mental health issues.
Brilliant. Sounds fantastic. And who makes up the team?
So we're made up of 4 police officers and 5 mental health practitioners. We work full time together. We're all based together, so we're made up of one team. So it helps that collaborative relationship and to build the service.
Brilliant. And what are the operating hours?
So we operate between 9:30 in the morning and 3 a.m. in the morning. So from 9:30 in the morning, I should say, to 3 a.m.
Wow, brilliant stuff. And can you tell me a bit more about how you work with the police? That sounded really interesting.
Yeah, so we identified that due to the fact that the police were dealing with quite a large percentage of people with mental health problems. And the reason for that was they needed access. And for people in the community that were struggling with mental health, they identified their quickest way to get support was through ringing the 999 emergency services. So we looked at how we could work in partnership and develop a quick response. So we work generally primarily with the police. All of our referrals come from police services through their control, the police control. So all 999 calls that come through, the control will identify if there is a concern related to their mental health, and they will contact us and we will participate in that kind of response to call. And that might mean that we look at giving them some advice and information and giving them some information about what concerns that the individual may have and what their mental health issues are and what kind of services they're currently involved with so that they can get the right service to contact them and support them in the community. Or that might mean that we will attend an incident or a scene with police officers and our own officer to provide an immediate response and an immediate mental health assessment so that it reduces individuals having to spend long periods of time with police presence and also reduces them having to be taken to an A&E and wait for long hours.
Fantastic. And you talked there about having to go out into the community and see our patients, our service users. What type of presentations would you?
So we, as a team, we deal with a variety of different concerns and issues. For the police side, we generally attend their emergency calls because they're deemed as the most urgent and need for their mental health, which is generally anyone that rings for a 999 call in an emergency setting. We attend people that are struggling with suicidal thoughts. They may be out in the community with immediate kind of thoughts that they want to end their lives. They may be on a bridge or on a car park with having those really distressing thoughts, and we will attend as part of that emergency response with the police. We will attend people's homes when they're struggling with low mood or depression and having thoughts. People may present as in the community, and they might be cause for concerns about their presentation and their behaviour, and they may be struggling with psychosis, and we will attend those. So we do deal with a variety of mental health concerns.
Wow, that's fascinating. And over the last 12 months since the service has been up and running, we've got the cost of living crisis, and I wondered, do some of the presentations, have you seen a trend or any changes in the last 12 months of presentations and calls through to the service?
Yeah, so we do see specific trends. We're looking more into that now. We've been around for 12 months, doing some more research so that we can make sure our service provides that support that's needed in relation to those trends. But yeah, definitely cost of living over the last, I'd say, 6 months. We're dealing with a lot more people who are struggling, who may not have had any contact with mental health services before, but their social situation has triggered that deterioration in their mental health. We have also found over the last 3 months, there's an increase presentation in young people, especially between the ages of 16 to 18, coming in contact with the police. And the police have noticed that's a trend as well.
I wonder if that's an impact post-pandemic that we're starting to see coming through.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly, yeah.
And so once the team have been out and you're with a patient, what happens next? What happens to them after the street triage has been involved?
So obviously the aim of our service is to make sure we do that kind of comprehensive mental health assessment with people in the community, and that might be at their own homes. And the idea behind that is it's the same kind of process they may have got if they attended A&E and saw mental health services, they were waiting to see a community mental health services. And what we try to do is then from that assessment is to refer them on to the most appropriate services to provide them the best care. And that can vary. We have a high percentage that sometimes need home treatment team, but it just means that referral is quicker and it's done while they're in the community. They're not having to come to hospital. They may need an inpatient admission. We look at alternatives like in CMHTs or back into the community to kind of services and charities that might be able to help with their issue or their problems. Brilliant.
And from a positive stories, have we got any positive stories that have come out from the street triage?
Yeah, so obviously over the last year, what we've indicated that we've definitely showing a reduction in 136s. We've had a number of positive compliments from the police force about the help having a mental health practitioner has given them to them. An example of that is we recently had a compliment and a letter of recommendation from the Chief Inspector of the Lancashire Police Force due to an incident that the team attended where there was a missing person. And what we were able to do was participate in that search from the beginning. With our knowledge and our skills and our awareness of that individual, we were able to direct to particular places that might be appropriate for that to look for, kind of support and with the inspectors that were in charge about what was the best options and where's the best places to look. And we were on scene when that individual was found, so we could, the minute that the individual was found, we could actually take over and start speaking to them about what was going on and get them in the right touch with the right people to help them.
Brilliant. And that joint working between police and the NHS is so key, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's the major thing that we do is that joint working. It's really creating a positivity within the police force with us and with the trust with the police force. It really is aiding that partnership and relationship.
Fantastic. And you mentioned there, Tracey, around a reduction in 136 detentions. And I know that the service has seen over a 30% reduction in patients being detained under Section 136. Can you just tell our listeners a bit more about Section 136? Yeah. And I suppose, the benefits of this is really key, isn't it?
Yeah. So the 136 is a mental health act power that's held by the police. And the aim of that is it gives the police the power if they attend a scene or in the community and there's concern that the person's presentation and their capacity is reduced and that they're unsafe and they need immediate mental health support. That is the 136 is the power to allow the police legally to bring somebody to a place of safety, and that's usually a 136 suite within the mental health inpatient services or the A&E department, and then to enable them to get the mental health act team, which is made up of 2 doctors and a mental health social worker, to complete a more in-depth assessment of their needs and get them in touch with the most appropriate people to help them and move forward.
Brilliant. And you mentioned that the Chief Inspector wrote out to you about your positive impact with that service user. I also received a letter from the Chief Inspector about the reduction in the 136 detentions and really thanking the team. It releases so much more police time.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Thank you.
It just sounds a huge success story of the Street Triage team. So a massive thank you to you, Tracey. What's the future hold for the service? What's your ambition to next?
So to me, it's been an absolute brilliant service to develop. I find it's something that's really benefiting the community, and it's really benefiting people that are struggling. I want it to continue. I want us to be able to work on the information and all the audits and research that we've gathered over the last year to really home in on how to develop the service and prioritise the needs, and continue to look at reducing the 136s, but also reducing the time that people are having to wait to be seen from mental health services, and being able to see people at home and in the community and reduce them having to attend A&E and have those long waits.
Fantastic. It's been brilliant talking with you, Tracey. Thank you so much. I hope our listeners have really enjoyed that and found a bit more out about our Street Triage team. So I'm really looking forward to our next podcast already. So thank you very much.
Thank you.